All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to New of Marin. This is our final Zoom meeting. We're very excited for our speaker tonight. Her name is Jasti Salem. Jasti Salem, and she is a transformative life coach who's going to offer us her strategies to guide and inspire and the 5 principles to empower our lives. A little bit about her talk. The quality of our lives is found in meaning. And life is not the challenges that we face, but rather the meaning that we give to those challenges. Added to this are the emotions that we experience that fuel our lives. The quality of our experiences depends on the quality of our emotions. When one is unhappy, change will not occur by accident or luck. In this informative talk, Jasti will cover the 5 principles that govern our lives. She will also share some strategies to create a conscious and positive change when dealing with the undeniable fact that life is constantly changing and we are constantly growing. This is a not to be missed talk, so stay tuned. Just a little bit about Jasti Salem. She is a strategic and transformative life coach with a bachelor's degree in psychology and 25 years of direct patient care. She's also RMT certified. That stands for Robbins Maidens. And I think, Jasti, you can correct me if I got it wrong.
Robbins
Yep.
Madonna's training.
Yep, there you go. Great. And she has dedicated her life to helping women make a positive, empowering, and lasting change to their lives. So please help me welcome Jasti. Take it away.
Andrea, thank you so much for that introduction. Yes, I'm going to talk about passion tonight. I am very passionate about helping women because in my life, I've been through a lot, as we all have, and I dedicate my life to serving women. And today's topic is going to be about passion and the fundamental truths that Andrea has shared with you is going to be explained further in this talk. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to define passion. So passion is a strong liking or desire for or devotion to some activity, object, or concept. Now, each of us have everything we need within ourselves to be passionate in different areas of our lives, if we can only learn to access it and maximize it. So why do we choose to let our true capabilities go unrecognized, right? So it could be that we may lack the drive to act, we may not even know what the passion is, or too full of self-doubt to proceed. Or it could be that, we grew up being expected to do a certain job, or it's already been decided for us what school we're going to go to. It's just the way we were trained. And it could be being a woman who is expected to do certain things that the culture expects, right? So we are kind of led to that path where we don't even question what we want in our lives. And that's where passion can come from. Knowing what that is. So here are the steps to awaken passion. So the first thing is that we have to be clear about mapping out our plan, that we think what we are passionate about. Now, as Andrea was just saying, was just saying that passion can change. We can be passionate for something when we're young, or during early 20s and then 30s. It just changes. So whatever the passion is at the moment, we want to be clear about mapping out your plan and how to get there if we don't have it yet. So what is the driving force? Another driving force would be your human needs, right? We all have human needs, and there are 4 top human needs that define our personality. And then number 3, getting out of the rut. How do we get out of that rut? And number 4, get what you want. So mapping out your plan. How are we going to do this? So we have to be honest with ourselves. We have to accept who we are and where we are at this moment. This would be your starting point. And then we also need to find out what your top human needs are, because everybody has it, and everybody has it at different times in their life. It could change. Now, it may take months or years, and that's okay, but at least you can have a goal or a plan to see where you're headed to get to where you're going, right? Another thing that I have done before, and I'm sure you've done before as well, is that's really actually helped me out, is to get visual. So I have had 3 vision boards in my life. And when I want something and I know I'm passionate about, but cannot get it right now, I will cut out pictures of things that make me excited, or cut out pictures of place I want to be in or move to. And then sometimes, you just you don't have to look at it and plan to look at it, but put it in a place where you're always going by it. So it's in your brain, it's subconsciously in your brain, and you subconsciously can make that happen. And it's been really true for me. I'm sure it has for you too, maybe. I don't know, maybe you can tell me what your experience is. Another thing too that really gets in the way with getting not passionate is that we have to change our mindset. Sometimes in our brain, we have these things telling you, no, you can't do it. There's so many things why I can't do this. It's not, it's not proper, or you're not going to make enough money, or whatever the things in your brain that keeps you from doing what you want to do, right? So you want to question the story you tell yourself. You transform your story into something that empowers you. Let's say, I remember when I was doing that thing and it made me really excited, just just change your story. Instead of saying, well, I don't think I can do this because blah, blah, this and that. Just change it. So don't say if, but say when. When I get this, when this happens, not if it happens. And then part of that is letting go of the past. We all have adversities, right? All of us do, because we're all human beings. But will you give your past meaning filled with hurt and pain? Or will you realize that it's what made you who you are today? People that have a lot of adversity actually have a lot of strength, and believe it or not, empathy. So even though you feel like you've had a lot of hardships and misfortunes, just think that it has given you confidence. You're confident enough that you're capable of handling whatever comes your way. So this is another, opening of the road where you can get to where you're going. So what is the driving force? So there are 6 human needs: certainty, significance, uncertainty, or variety, love or connection. That's the top 4 that determines your personality. And then growth and contribution. That's for spiritual growth. So when you know what your top 4 human needs are, you know the path that you're going, right? So if you don't know what it is, you have a ladder, you're going up the wall, and you think that you got to where you're going because you made a lot of money, but feeling empty inside because you didn't really satisfy your top 4 human needs. Some people have significance as number 1, and some people have certainty as number 1. It just depends on where you're at. So like I said, these are the fundamental needs of the personality. So this is what's called human needs psychology. So by clarifying your beliefs, your values, and on your purpose, you make strategic decisions and take specific actions. That's how you start. And like I said, it is the start of your map. So another strategy is getting out of the rut. So rut to me means repeatedly, for R, U, unproductive, and T, trapped. Repeatedly unproductive and trapped. That's what rut is. So some people would ask me, Jasti, how do you get out of the rut? The first thing I tell the women that I work with is get out of denial. That means saying, you know what, accept it. Hey, I'm in a rut. This is just the way it is. It's just part of life, and it's okay. But don't say, well, I'm in a rut because I'm just so tired. I'm just so busy, blah, 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 all this stuff. It just belongs to dissatisfaction. So the first thing to do is to get out of that denial and accept that you're in a rut. And what is the real reason you're in a rut? You know, that's another question you want to ask, right? So what I tell people is you want to go out there and take chances. That means saying yes more often rather than always saying no, analyzing, overthinking before you say yes. It's kind of like a surfer riding the waves, right? The waves, you don't know what the waves are going to do, but you're riding it. You might crash or you might have that perfect wave. So it's good to just go with that wave instead of trying to control everything, because that's what life's about. It's an adventure. It's fun and it's fascinating. Another example too is like, you know how the birds are like trying to get into the current? It's the same thing. They're using the current to get to where they're going. And sometimes they may fall off of the air current because they're not in it, or they could go up. So it's the same thing. And then taking on a new challenge, you know, this creates pathways to help your brain get out of that rut. It could be, it doesn't have to be a big challenge. It could be, I don't know, like trying out a new recipe instead of trying the same thing, you know, or trying a new sport instead of trying something, trying a new sport you're not good at instead of something that you're already so used to, right? Or sometimes, you know, doing something different every day, like taking a different route from work to work, or going to a different store that you've never been to. It's just something that's different that shake things up, and it doesn't have to be big. It could be something as little as that. And then getting out of the rut too, you want to get support from your friends, you know, family, therapists, whoever you feel comfortable sharing that, you know, issue with. And then it's done. Can you hear me?
Yeah, keep going.
Oh, I'm sorry. It just is, and then so getting what you want, you know, when you're not getting what you want out of life, you're not living up to your values and passions, right? So we want to set up a meaningful goal by knowing what your top human needs are. You want to, again, like I said, overcome limiting beliefs by changing your life story. Because sometimes, you know, we tend to tell a story about what happened to us and, you know, what happened to us in their childhood. Yeah, those are really important. But who are you behind that life story? That's who you really want to know. Who are you? And that can lead you to, you know, what you really want. And when you do what you really want, you're passionate, right? So that is another thing that's another way of getting what you want. And then you want to write down your goals on paper, because you are acknowledging on the unconscious and conscious mind. You will be clear on where you are right now, and it is not where you want to be. And take those small actionable steps, like I said before. And then ask yourself why, you know, get crystal clear. How would achieving these goals make me feel? How will this change my life? What will this mean if I get what I want? You know, like what would this mean? By doing this, you know what your purpose and passions are. So again, in conclusion, passion comes from an element of uncertainty and even discomfort. So I know it's very, very sometimes difficult to be in an uncertain situation, but making that first leap and trying out things, as I've said before in my strategy, you're not going to regret it. And if you want to experience the fullness of passion, we need to step out of our comfort zones and take some risk, right? Like I said, you're saying yes and just not overthinking it and not coming up with reasons why I can't do this, you know? And then the only thing that will make you happy and passionate is the person you have become and what you have created in your lifetime. So when you identify the four most important needs, you discover your driving motivation, what gives meaning and a sense of satisfaction to your life. So again, passion at the end of the day comes from you. it's up to you to do what you need to do to be happy. And that means being passionate in different arenas of your life. So I hope that you've gotten some value of what you've heard from me. And if you have any more questions, please feel free to ask me. And Andrea, thank you so much for the great introduction.
Thank you, Jasti. That was awesome. I'm sure that everyone has some questions, so I'm going to just turn it over. Anyone want to raise their hand? Any questions? Yep, Carolyn, go for it.
First of all, that was exactly what the doctor prescribed for me. And I loved the analogy of the waves, because sometimes I feel like I'm not treading water, but the waves are blowing me one direction and blowing me the other direction. Like I'm just kind of, and the idea of like jumping on the board was so empowering. So I really appreciate that. My question, so thank you.
You're welcome.
Question, I didn't get the fourth. I heard certainty, significance, loving connection.
Sorry, I was very fast. Yes, certainty, uncertainty, and or variety, love and connection, and significance. And then the last two for the spiritual
growth. Yeah.
Growth is growth and contribution.
So you're saying certainty and uncertainty are two different?
They're two different things. So basically certainty is like a person that wants certainty is a person who's very stable, wants the budget, wants everything concrete, wants things to be set in stone and just proper, right? Uncertainty are people that like the variety, like they can't live in one spot, they have to move every 3 years, or they have to have jobs every year. They just want, or people that love to do the really dangerous sports and stuff like that, because there's a certain sense of excitement, uncertainty. Am I gonna, is this dangerous? Am I gonna make it or not? Some people do thrive on that. And then obviously love it. And go ahead.
May I ask another question, Andrea?
Yes, of course.
Go for it. Yep.
So are you it sounds to me that you're suggesting that people could have one or none, one or all of these elements.
So all human beings have the top 4. It's just a different, yours could be hierarchy. Like, hierarchy. And some people don't necessarily have the last 2, which is growth and contribution. But everybody wants certainty, uncertainty, significance, and love and connection. And sometimes they can get it in the positive or negative way.
I have another question, but I'll wait till some other people have a chance. But
okay.
Come back to me.
All right.
Okay, go for it. Who's any other questions? I think Jasti, Michelle, go for it. Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, first of all, it was really interesting because I hadn't really thought about, kind of like actually finding a path, because there's times when you're kind of wondering what your passions are. And so I really love the idea of putting up a vision board and kind of like, finding inspiration from that. Mm-hmm. But so, how do you suggest for people that are really just kind of like fishing around, trying to figure out what their passion is? What first steps can somebody take?
So the first steps that somebody can take, and this is for you also, Carolyn, with human needs, is if you guys want, I can send you I don't know, am I allowed to do that? Send you a test on what are your top human needs? And you can even have your partner do that as well. So you can figure out, maybe your husband or partner thinks that your top human need is growth, but it's not. So he's actually doing you the wrong way, or vice versa. So if you want, I can send you a like a PDF
Sure.
of, like testing. So you can see what your top human needs are. And also it could be your daughters too, or it could be your spouse or just yourself. And then you can start there. And then, because sometimes you think this is your human need, but really it isn't, so if you want, and then I will send you all the explanation of that, because I know that we don't have much time, but it's a lot more information on that. So I could even do
That'd be great.
another. Yeah, so I can send you that. So Andrea, how do you want me to do this?
Let me see. I'd say for the individuals who are interested, reach out to Jasti directly, right?
Okay.
And then she can send it off to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. And all your info is on the website. So.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay,
Cool.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that-
because
that
I mean,
makes sense.
your talk resonated with me, but I'm also really advising my niece right now, who I think it would have been so great for her to hear what you just had to say, because
But it's recorded.
yeah, no, and yes, that's true, and I'm gonna share it. I'm gonna
Okay.
share this with her. But yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I'll thank you so much for your time and your questions. And Andrea, thank you so much for that great introduction. And I will send whoever wants that. It's a really great test, because sometimes you think, like, I thought my top 4 was this and that, and it was not, the top 2 was not the same. And so I thought my husband's was, I thought I had him figured out, but no, I don't. I didn't.
That's the uncertainty part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Linda, go ahead. Just unmute yourself.
Thank you, Andrea. Jasti, are you a member so I can look you up on our New of Marin?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, she's a member. Jasti, I wanted you to cover just the last 2 that were the spiritual growth ones, because I think that you sort of touched very briefly on that, and when you and I were working together, you had gone deeper into that. Just share. You were saying that those 2, contribution and took care of all the needs. So do you mind?
Yeah. So the last 2 are satisfy the
soul.
spirituality, the
Yeah.
soul, and that is growth and contribution. So the reason why growth and contribution addresses all the 4 other needs is growth and contribution. So contribution satisfies the love and connection. It also satisfies this stability, because you know that you're helping other people, and it also satisfies uncertainty, because you are in variety, because you're contributing to whatever you're contributing to. You don't know how many people you've touched, or what type of help that you want, or that you've given them. And then significance, when you contribute, you have significance, you feel significant because you've contributed to whatever cause, or whatever that you have contributed to, right? And growth is the same thing. So growth can satisfy the love as well, because by growing, you learn to love maybe unconditionally, or maybe learn to love people that it's hard to love, or love people that are different, and that's through spiritual growth, right? And then with growth as well, you satisfy love, because well, I've said that before, and it satisfies the validity, the validation, because you have validate yourself that, hey, you know what, I've been working so hard, and I'm proud of myself, and I've actually made some strides, and that satisfies the validation.
Awesome.
And then the certainty too. So you are in control of what you want to learn. So if you're in control of what you want to learn, then you have that certainty.
Yeah, and I'd imagine growth also satisfies, love of yourself, because you're actually doing something for yourself, right?
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point. Yeah. Yes.
Awesome. Well, Jasti, thank you so much. I'm going to cut recording, and great job. And Carolyn's going to get in just under the wire. Go for it, Carolyn.
I did say I had one more question,
Oh, that's
and
true.
we can do this later, Jasti. I'm just not. I'm having trouble distinguishing between significance and contribution, and you just touched upon it, but it's just really not clear to me. And
Well-
maybe it's because my work, you know, I feel like my work is super significant to the people, you know, to my clients, to their families, to their generations, and therefore I've made this contribution. I'm not
Well, they're related.
distinguishing.
They're related. So,
Jasti, give
so-
examples of what that would be, like what an example of significance is versus an example of contribution.
so significance could be, but there's positive and negatives, right? The positive of significance would be somebody who has, I don't know, won a scholarship to college. That's positive, right? A negative significance would be somebody that has made a ton of money, but has burned so many people on the way up. But he's
I
very
see what you're
proud.
saying.
Yeah. So
Got it.
you got it? Okay.
Got it. Thank you.
Mhm.
That was great.
But you know what? The stuff I'm going to send you, it has all of those explanation.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to, we good? Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. Jasti, thank you again. That was so great. And
Thank you.
I will speak for everyone. I know we all got a lot out of that. So